So let's look at a tool that's very similar to the indent feature. It's called the Deform tool. We've got our same model that we worked with earlier, rectangular block covering up part of our power strip. We can actually come in and hide the bottom body, and we've got our two embedded little bodies there. If we come up to Insert, Features, and Deform, there are actually three different types of deforms: point deforms, curve to curve, and then surface push. We're actually going to stick with the surface push today. For the push direction, come in and pick face on the part. We just want to make sure that the direction is going in the vertical direction. For the deform region, additional faces to be deformed, we, in this case, don't really need that. We're actually going to choose the whole body to be deformed, and we're going to deform this upper block. There are a couple bodies that are there as examples that we could use: ellipses, ellipsoid, polygon, rectangles, but we actually want to come in and select an actual body in the model. Come over and use the flyout to pick the top of the part there, and we can kind of see what we can do to get going. The next option here is the deform deviation. What kind of gap around the part do we want to use? Now with the deform tool, it's a little bit different than the indent. The indent is nice and accurate. The deform tool is kind of wishy-washy, touchy-feely. You're going to push things around a little bit and kind of have to play with the numbers to get things the way you want. And we'll see what that looks like when we go in and look at the results here in a minute. Tool body position, we can come and look at that here in a second. We're going to come down here to the shape options. As we move the slider to the right side, the accuracy or closeness to the deforming tool is closer. If we go ahead and say OK right now, it's going to say, hey, target body is not deformed. Click the reverse direction in the push direction dialog box and try again. And that may be if you have the arrow going in the wrong direction, but we actually need to come in and move our tool body up into the part. So we're going to come up in the Y direction and give it a little push there. And we can start seeing the preview there deforming, maybe a little bit more on the right side. So we're going to go up about an inch, and we'll see what that result looks like and say OK. Okay, so if we look at that, we can definitely see the body being kind of pushed up into the model. Let's take a look at a section tool through here. Now we can see that we're not quite getting the exact indentation that the indent tool gave us. This is more of a we're doing about the same shape, kind of pushing up into the model. So depending on how far you run the indent up, how far you make the thickness of the original rectangular block, is going to give you different results. It really depends on the geometry. We've got a very sharp curve here on the left side. It's not going to be able to stretch that material that much. The right side seems to be a little bit closer, but it also has a pretty sharp change of direction there. So it's a little bit different than the indent tool, but you kind of get the idea of what might be useful there. Come in and use the shell command to shell out some of the bottom of the yellow block, and that can give us a nice mold type part for the top of the part.